You will convert units of measure between systems. This is what we're doing. Okay? That's our goal. Okay? When we're done with the lesson that we're working on, you're going to be able to convert units of measure between systems. There are two systems we're going to be working with. One is called the customary system. What do we mean when we say customary? Well, let's even throw a little bit more on that. What if we said the U.S. customary system? What are we talking about there? What are we talking about, Tyler?
A system used that was created in the U.S.
Yeah, it's that form of measurement that we use every day in the United States, okay? Which, when we're talking about measurement in the United States, we're talking about typically, customarily, we use feet, yards, miles, gallons. Anything else you can think of that we use on a regular basis?
Inches.
Inches,
Centimeters.
Talon,
I was going to say inches.
okay. Somebody else with some United States customary measures. Think of your equivalence quizzes. What are some of the other equivalents that we use conversion for? That's not United States though. Okay? That's a different system. Okay? Yes? Quarts.
Tons.
I would like for Tyler to stop blurring.
I didn't learn.
I'm sorry, Tyler, that wasn't you that time. Okay? Tyler, what else you thinking?
Centimeters.
Centimeters are not United States customary. They are the other system that we're going to talk about here in a second. What's another, and you need to stop blurting also. Okay. Chloe?
Tons.
Tons. That's another one we talk about. Can you think of something else, Sal? Pounds. Good. Okay. Are there more?
Yes.
Sure there are. They could go on further. But this is the customary system. Okay? The other system that we're going to be working with, the name has been thrown out there, and it's pretty much what the rest of the world uses. It's known as the metric system. Okay? The metric system, like I said, is pretty much what the rest of the world uses. It's what we call a decimal system. Okay? The metric system is a decimal system. Okay? And quite honestly, in a lot of ways, the decimal system is an easier system to work with, to understand. But we don't use it enough to be able to do those conversions from United States customary to metric. But in countries where all they use is the metric, they can convert from liters to milliliters to, we have to have, if we're talking about measurement and we're dealing with, like we start dealing with our gallon, in order to convert through that gallon into pints and quarts, we have to know what? What is it that you learned when you were younger to be able to do it? The gallon man, okay? Metric systems doesn't deal with the gallon man. They learn it one time and it works for liters, grams, and grams, and meters. So it works for all, whether it be a liquid measurement, a distance, or a dry measurement. It doesn't matter. It all works the same way. Ours is different. Is our measurement for length going to convert the same way that gallon man does? No. So you have to have a different way to convert, don't you? So in some ways, the metric may be an easier system. The metric system contains it's set up by what we call the base 10. Okay, it uses the base 10 system, and the whole metric system contains units for length, units for capacity, and for mass. Capacity is what we would call our gallon. Okay? It's all done in the base 10 when we're dealing with metric. Yes, sir? Yes, I did. You're right, I did. Okay? Now, when we talk about, there's been a term that I've been throwing around quite a bit, and when we look back at on the goal of what I said, you will convert. What does it mean to convert? You have to have something called we call it the conversion factor. You have to have a conversion factor. Anybody know what a conversion factor means? Anybody know? What do you think there?
Something you multiply by 1 to get to the other.
Yeah, excellent. Something you multiply by 1, he said, to get to the other. The conversion factor is a rate that equals 1. Very good. It is a rate that equals 1. Okay? Conversion factor is a rate that equals 1. So let's say 1 yard equals what? How many feet? How many feet are in 1 yard? How many feet there, Ben?
3.
Okay. So 3 feet equals 1 yard. I could also say 1 yard equals 3 over 3. Do you agree? No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Nix that. Okay, nix that one. Okay. We're also going to be using something called the unit analysis, just to decide which factor to use, okay? We'll get into that a little bit more. Let's go on. Okay, let's think about it this way. What if I want to convert 36 quarts equals how many gallons? 36 quarts equals how many gallons? Well, first of all, remember we said it's a conversion rate is something that equals 1, right? So what would my conversion rate be here? So in other words, 1 gallon equals how many quarts? That's going to be my rate. I got to know that. Notice why I've done equivalence. 1 gallon equals how many quarts, Jaslyn?
1 gallon equals 4 quarts.
Okay, good. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. Well, if I know that 1 gallon, and if I want to write it as a rate, 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, and I compare that to, how many quarts do I have right now?
36.
I have 36 quarts. 36 over 4. You see why I put it over 4? Because of the fact that if 1 gallon is 4 quarts, if I have 36 quarts, and I know 4 of those make 1 gallon, okay? If I divide 36 by 4, I'm going to find out how many gallons, okay? And I've got to make sure that I show this right so you know how to, yeah, I was right. 36 I didn't show this right. I don't like this. We said 36 gallons or 36 quarts times 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. Okay? That's my conversion rate right here. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. I'm multiplying them together. If I throw 36 as a fraction, okay, what's crossing out? Remember the bow tie? What label can we cross out? What label is going to cross out? Well, I will reduce that here in a minute, but first of all, I want you just to look at the label. What label can I take out? Braden? Okay. Now, let me ask you this, bow tie. First of all, what do I want to know? What was the question? 36 quarts equals how many gallons? So I want to make sure I got that label. Do you agree? Look here. How is it that I'm going to cancel out? Do I have quarts on top? Do I have quarts on bottom? A while ago, you said 36 and 4, right? Bow tie says 4 divided by 4 is 1. 36 divided by 4 is 9. But I can cancel out the quarts too, because quarts divided by quarts is gone. Now, what is 9 times 1 gallon? What is 1 times 1? So 36 quarts equals 9 gallons. Do you see why it works though? Using the conversion rate. Using the rate, go back to here, 1 gallon, 4 quarts. Using that rate, okay? 1 gallon per 4 quarts. Is that a unit rate?
No.
It's not, okay? 1 gallon per 4 quarts. Let's try another one. Do you have a question,
Yes.
Jaslyn?
Yes. Why would you do that instead of do 1 gallon equals 4 quarts? So 4 times 36.
If I did 36 quarts times 4 quarts, I'm still going to have quarts, aren't I? And I'm making the 36 quarts larger by multiplying them. When you think about it, which are you going from a larger measurement to a smaller measurement? Or am I going from, was the question asking me to go from a smaller measurement to a larger container?
Larger to a smaller.
Small containers to the larger. Okay? Technically, we're multiplying, but we're actually doing what? We're actually dividing. But in using the rate, it wants us to learn it a different way. Okay? But if we put, and that's why when Chance said, well, why don't I use the bow tie and reduce it? You divided right there, didn't you, Chance? Okay? Yes?
How come you can't just do 36 over 4 and then divide it like that? Because it gives you 9.
I agree, it will give it to you every time. I totally agree with you, okay? But what we want to make sure that you understand is why are you able to divide by 4, okay? It's a rate, 1 gallon to 4 quarts. 36 divided by 4 gives me the number of gallons. I like it that way. I totally agree with you. Okay? Your book is showing it, and the state, the whole assessment process is you want to understand it's a rate. You're multiplying it by a rate. Because when you look in the back of the book, when we've done some conversions, have we done some conversions from feet to centimeters? Have we done anything like that? Did we multiply by a rate? This is the rate. Does that make sense? It's the same kind of a thing, only we're making sure that on why a rate works. Well, what about if I said 48 feet, here's what we're gonna do. 48 feet equals how many yards? What's the rate of conversion gonna be? 1 yard equals how many feet? That's your conversion rate. What's that rate gonna be? Jaden? What's the conversion rate? 1 yard equals how many feet? How many feet are in a yard, Josie? 3. That's my rate, okay? Now I take the rate and I multiply it by the original. So I have 48 feet times 1 yard over 3 feet. What's going to cancel out? The feet are going to cancel out. Okay, so now you have 48 divided by 3, and this is yards, because 48 times 1 yard would give me my yards, right? So what's 48 divided by 3? 16? And I keep the label. Does that work? Does that make sense to you better?
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm multiplying it by 1 yard. Okay? All right, let's try another one. See what you can do with, I want everybody to write down the conversion rate of this one. What if I said 7 pounds, we're going to convert 7 pounds equals how many ounces? What is the conversion rate? We're going to use the abbreviation CR. What's the conversion rate? So 1 pound equals how many ounces? How many ounces are in 1 pound? How many ounces? 16. Okay? So this time, I'm going to, because I want to go to ounces, I'm going to say, I got to have one of something. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. Do you agree with that? That doesn't look like pound, does it? Is that better? 1 pound equals 16 ounces. Why would I put the ounces on top now? Why do you think I put the 16 on top? Why would I do that? Why would I care about which way to put that rate? Why would I do that, Ben? 'Cause 16 ounces is bigger than 7? Well, that's true, it is bigger. But remember, what label do I want left? Pardon?
Your ounces.
I want ounces left. I want the label ounces left. So that tells me what to do.
Because you're trying to figure out how many ounces are in.
Because I'm trying to figure out how many ounces. So if I said 7 pounds times 16 ounces over 1 pound, okay? Pounds are going to cancel out, aren't they? Pounds now cancel out, and what's left behind? 7 times 16 ounces. Well, what's 7 times 16? 112? 112 ounces. This is how I knew. And this is where the rate comes in for me, using a rate. It tells me, do I wanna multiply it or do I wanna divide it? See what I'm saying? What's up, Cadence?
I got it figured out.
Are you okay now? Seriously?
Yep.
Jaslyn, are you good? Okay. Do this one on your own. We've done 2. We don't wanna go there yet. Yes, we will. I'll go with this one. What if I go 12 quarts equals how many? We're gonna run it this way. How many gallons? What's your conversion rate? What's the conversion rate gonna be? Make sure you know which label you wanna keep, because it goes on the top of the conversion rate. Roper, which label do you wanna keep? The gallon label, right? So it needs to be on top, right? Okay. So, Roper, 1 gallon equals how many quarts? How many quarts are in a gallon? 4, good. There's my conversion rate, right there. Okay? 12 quarts times okay. Quarts are going to cancel out, aren't they? That label leaves. 12 times 1 is 12. Divided by 4 is 3. So 12 quarts equals 3 gallons. Good? Roper, are you good? Who said that's confusing? Okay. Chance? Always find the conversion rate, okay? 1 gallon is the same thing as 4 quarts. Do you agree? So that's a unit of 1. Do you agree with that? You always multiply whatever you're converting by a unit of 1. When you make the decision, okay, what if I was going 3 gallons equals how many quarts? Okay? Again, we know that 1 gallon is 4 quarts, right? That here's the same. But now I want quarts to be left on my conversion when I convert. Okay? So I'm going to flip the way that I write it. And I'm going to say that this CR is 4 quarts per gallon.
You should have a lot more on your paper.
Look here. Without the bow tie, do you agree this is 12 times 1 over 4? Okay? Got it. I'd say something flicked it by accident. Do you agree this like this is 12 times 1? And basically it's 12 times 1 gallon because we crossed out the quarts. Well, what is 12 times 1? And if I wanted to, right there, I could do a bow tie there, couldn't I? Do you see it? So if you simplify up here first, that's fine. Okay? All right, now, back over here though, the reason I put the quarts on the top is because now I'm going 3 gallons times 4 quarts divided by gallons. Our gallons gonna cancel each other out. Okay? So I'm gonna cancel out the gallon, and now I have 3 times 4 quarts, or how many quarts? 12 quarts, good. Okay? The only thing different is I look here to see which label do I need left. That's the one that goes on the top of my rate. Here I needed gallons left, so I put the gallon on top. Here I needed quarts left, so I put that on top to keep that rate. Does that make sense? They both, 1 gallon divided by 4 quarts, is that gonna give me 1? Sure it would, because they're equal to 1. 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. These are both a rate of 1. Only one of them. Okay? Jocelyn.
When I didn't do it that way. I did it in my head too. Because I figured out how many I know that there's 4 quarts in a gallon, and then I did 12 quarts divided by 4 quarts equals 3 gallons.
Okay, so you did it a little different. Okay? Cadence? Katie, sorry.
Like if it's going from a larger number to a smaller number, or not number, but like
A larger unit to a
Yeah.
smaller unit.
you multiply, and then a smaller to a larger unit, you divide.
That's the way that we did, but if you use that with the metric system, when converting from, and because here's what we're not always gonna be going from United States customary to United States customary. That's the whole point of what we're fixing to do. Now we're gonna be going between the 2 systems. That's why learning the unit rate is important, because this is where we're going. What if we said 7 miles equals how many kilometers? Now's where it gets tricky. Okay? Now's where it gets tricky. But we've got a helper. I want you to open up your book and go to the very back of the book. Go to the very back of the book.
Open up your book.
Page B1 is what I've got in my book. B1, which is the very last or next to last page.
Yeah, we do.
There's what's called a mathematics reference sheet there. Okay? Now, if you'll notice the mathematics reference sheet, there's a U.S. customary, and if you look, it's U.S. customary to metric, and there's also a metric to U.S. customary. That's going to make a difference, which one you use. It's important that you know what you're going from and to. In this case, I'm going from U.S. customary to metric. So 1 mile equals what? How many kilometers? Looking at the book, 1 mile equals how many kilometers?
1.61.
Say it louder.
1.61.
So 1 mile is 1.61 kilometers. Which label do I need left?
Kilometers.
So 1.61 kilometers equals 1 mile. Do you agree with that? That's my conversion rate. Okay? Now, when I do that, 7 miles times 1.61 kilometers equals, the mile label are gonna cancel, do you agree? So what is 7 times 1.61?
11.27.
Say it louder there.
11.27.
And I need you to start raising your hand, okay? If you're not taking notes and you come to me later and say, Mrs. Rakestraw, I don't understand how to do this, I'm gonna tell you, show me your notes. And if you can't show them to me, I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, you need to go work on this on your own for a while. Because you don't have the tools you need. Or go watch the video and take the notes and then come back and see me. Got my message? Okay. Chloe?
Where'd you get the 1.6?
1.61. Move your paper. U.S. customary to metric. 1 mile is approximately 1.61 kilometers. Okay? Okay? What if I give you this one? We've done one together. Now you gotta keep that open. That's fine. What if I say 12 quarts is approximately how many liters? 12 quarts and I'm showing my work by going out. First of all, I've got to find the conversion rate. What's the conversion rate?
0.
And I could just do it this way, 12 quarts times what? What's the CR? We're going from quarts to liters. Chloe, what's the CR?
0.95.
So 1 quart equals 9,500 liters? Is that what you're telling me? Yeah, that's what you're telling me. Read it. 1 quart is 95 hundredths of a liter. Okay? I want liters left, so I've got Isn't that what that says? 95 hundredths liters equals 1 quart? These two are going to cancel, aren't they? So 1 quart equals how many liters? Cole, 1 quart's going to equal how many liters? Use your calculator. One quart equals how many liters? What was it? 11.4. Did you take 12 times 0.95? That's what you got to do, okay? Everybody sees that?
Yes.
12
times 0.95 is 11.4 liters. Yes?
I think you're just taking 12 and then 95, or the 95% of 12.
You're right. You could call it that. Okay? Let's do one more. Let's see if I can go from 25 kilograms equals how many pounds? What's the CR? Now I'm going from kilograms to pounds. I'm going from metric to US customary. So what is my conversion rate? 1 kilogram is how many pounds? 1 kilogram is how many pounds? Talon says 2.2. Is he correct? Does everybody see 1 kilogram is 2 2/10 of a pound? Know where that's coming from? So if I have 25 kilograms times, oops, I gotta write that different. I want pounds left, don't I? You see why I switched it around? Because I want that label of the kilograms to be able to cancel out. So that tells me 25 times 2.2 will give me the pounds. How many pounds is 25 kilograms? How many pounds is that? Chloe?
55.
55 pounds. Do you agree? Did that come out 55 evenly? Yep. Okay? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me see if I'm going to do this or not. Let me look real quick. Yeah, I will. I want you to go to your math journal, page 124. Yep, it's a small assignment. And we always do that review stuff in the textbook. Textbook page 236, 237, 37 to 41. That is your assignment. Okay?